I recently received a surprising gift from a close friend.
Wow.
A tiny little frog in a brand new tank. At first, I wasn't quite sure what to do since I had never raised a frog before. But instead of feeling overwhelmed, I decided to take it as a fun challenge. Because of my busy schedule, I came up with an idea to design a simple, low-maintenance setup where the frog could thrive on its own without needing constant care.
Quăng quên bên góc phố, tay latte khói bay nghiêng, em khoác chiếc khăn cũ.
It seems like this little frog really enjoys his new home. He moves around happily in the tank and lives as if it's a natural habitat. I'm really glad he likes it. To be honest, the way I set up this tank was actually quite simple. I looked up the frog's natural habits online, then spent some time thinking about how I could recreate a perfect environment without spending much money at all. On the first day, I tried building a small artificial mountain, a tiny pond, and a gentle stream flowing down from the mountain. Then I created a stable patch of land next to it using moist soil, organic mulch, and a layer of soft bedding underneath. I made the surface a bit uneven, not too flat, just to keep things interesting for the frog. Didn't want him getting bored, haha. When setting up a tank for a frog, choosing the right items makes all the difference. First, a soft and moisture-retaining substrate is essential. I usually go with a mix of cocoa fiber, organic soil, and sphagnum moss to keep the humidity stable. Next, hiding spots are a must. Frogs love to feel safe, so I add some small caves, bark tunnels, or even upside-down flower pots. A shallow water dish is also important, one that's easy for the frog to get in and out of. For decorations, I try to keep it as natural as possible. Driftwood, leaf litter, and some live or artificial plants not only make it look great, but also help mimic their wild environment. Oh, and don't forget a good lid. Frogs are escape artists. Keep it secure, and you'll have a safe, cozy little home for your frog to explore and enjoy. Frogs are fascinating little creatures. Despite their small size, they play a big role in the balance of natural ecosystems. In the wild, frogs are usually found in damp, shaded environments, near ponds, slow-moving streams, marshes, or dense tropical undergrowth. These places provide the moisture they need to keep their skin hydrated, places to hide from predators, and plenty of insects to feed on. When we try to recreate a frog's habitat in a tank, it's not just about making it look pretty. It's about mimicking the conditions they're used to in nature. That means adding soft, moist soil, hiding spots like rocks or driftwood, plants that help maintain humidity, and of course, clean water for soaking or swimming. What's beautiful about frogs is how simple their needs can be, and yet, how rewarding it is to see them thrive when you get it right. Watching a frog explore its environment, hide under a leaf, or sit quietly in a corner, it's oddly calming. And honestly, it reminds me how important it is to slow down and appreciate the little things. A well-designed tank isn't just a habitat, it's a small world, alive with its own rhythm. For the plants, I chose a few hardy species that don't require much water, added some moss, and threw in a few pieces of decaying wood for decoration. Looks pretty nice, doesn't it? On the third day, once everything in the tank had settled, I introduced the little frog to his new home. First, I let him sit in the water for a while to get used to the environment, just to help him adjust a bit before letting him roam free and explore the entire tank. Watching him swim around brought me this strange sense of joy, kind of like sending your kid off to their first swimming lesson. He kept paddling from one spot to another, exploring here and there. Honestly, it was pretty adorable, don't you think?
Hi, Dad. どうも、こんにちは。
On day 4, it was finally time to feed the little frog. I had been looking forward to this moment. Feeding is always a fun and fascinating part of keeping frogs. Their diet mostly consists of live prey, so I started with some tiny crickets. At first, he just stared at them, probably still a bit shy in his new home. But after a few seconds, boom, that tongue shot out like lightning. Got it in one strike. Feeding frogs is more than just giving them food. It's a moment of interaction, where you see their instincts come alive. You start to notice what they like, how they hunt, and even how their personalities show through. Some frogs are bold, striking fast without hesitation. Others are more cautious, watching and waiting for the perfect moment. I decided to add a couple of goldfish to the tank. I know it might sound a little odd, frogs and fish living together, but if you set it up properly, they can actually coexist quite peacefully. The goldfish brought a whole new layer of life to the tank. Their bright colors moving through the water made everything feel more alive, more dynamic. Of course, I made sure the water section was deep and clean enough for the fish to swim comfortably. I also added a small filter to keep things fresh and prevent waste from building up. The frog didn't seem to mind at all. In fact, he looked kind of curious, just sitting there watching his new tank mates swim around like shiny little comets. Day 6, I added some dried leaves into the tank, not just for decoration, but to help mimic the forest floor. The leaves slowly break down, keeping the soil moist and full of life. Then, I introduced a few small bugs, isopods, springtails, the kind of little guys that thrive in damp environments. They may not look like much, but these tiny critters actually do a big job. They help break down organic matter and keep the substrate fresh and airy. Think of them as the tank's cleanup crew, always busy under the surface, making sure things stay balanced and healthy. And hey, they're also company for the little frog. I like to think they keep him entertained, like quiet roommates, just going about their day. Together with the leaves, the bugs bring the tank even closer to feeling like a real ecosystem. It's those small details that make everything feel alive, and watching it all come together is genuinely satisfying. The frog and the bugs actually live together quite peacefully most of the time. There are moments, though, when the frog seems to forget they're supposed to be roommates, and snap, one unlucky bug disappears. Hee. Well, it happens. But aside from those occasional mix-ups, they all get along just fine. It's funny watching them interact. The bugs go about their business, cleaning and digging through the soil, while the frog lounges nearby like a lazy king. I guess that's just nature doing its thing, a little unpredictable, but somehow perfectly balanced. And that's it for today's Little Frog adventure. It's been a fun journey setting up this mini world and watching everything slowly come to life. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give it a like, and drop a comment down below. I'd love to hear what you think, or how you would build your own frog tank. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.